Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight as Gold Mountain Games plays The Tomb of Annihilation. You can check out Gold Mountain Games' Kickstarter, Zillaram, Salt Reach Isles, right now on Kickstarter, and if you're watching this live, for the next 4 days before it ends. So, before we get deep into the jungles of Cholt, let's meet our players.
Hello, I'm Chaz. I'm playing Clyde, and really looking forward to seeing how this rogue does in the jungle.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm going to be playing Siobhan Narin, an Orland Corsair, Monster Hunter Ranger.
Hi, I'm Fen. I'll be playing Myrick Dwellin, a draconic lineage human who's a Twilight cleric.
I will be playing a man who has working for a long time as a tiefling. He looks like a bull to most people, and he's young, interested in this mystery in Schult, and has arcane interests.
Well, in your all's world, pre this meeting, for the past several days, the talk of the streets, taverns, inns, and alleyways has whispered of the so-called death curse. It seems to be affecting everyone who's ever been raised from the dead. They seem to pass slowly, day by day, and can't be raised afterwards, and seemingly neither can anyone else. No temples are able to explain the situation. A vague panic trembles through the lands as the miracle of resurrection seems to have disappeared entirely. You have all been invited to the house of a famed adventurer, Cindra Sylvain, and have been promised handsome rewards in exchange for participating in an expedition into the incredibly dangerous jungles of Cholt. As you gather outside of the small, stony townhouse, looking up towards kind of a large, imposing wooden door, a little bit of one of the richer spots in town, you see 3 other figures approaching from nearby. Would you like to describe your characters?
So, Clyde, he's about 3'11", and he's got dark armor on, blue and black, and a very oversized backpack. It looks like he came prepared, and he might have brought the kitchen sink, and he's still looking for other things to acquire. He's got blonde hair, and very tan skin. Looks like he's been out in the sun for a very long time.
Me? Okay.
Sure.
Siobhan appears human, about 5'10". As you get closer, you'd notice that she has kind of like a greenish-black kind of scale patterning on her skin and hands, wearing a like heavy overcoat, tricorn hat with a single like deer antler sticking out from one side, a ornately carved bow across her back.
Finn?
Merrick looks. He's 6'2", with long black hair, deathly pale. Like this man looks like he's never stepped outside in his life. With beautiful armor on and a crescent moon shield. And he just seems to hold an air of almost smugness as he looks at the others.
All right. And finally, you are muted.
Yes, Petrov is very quiet, and there's this moment just for 2 seconds where it feels like he's not going to speak, and he rises up, he holds himself with a certain grace, and he looks directly into all 3 of the others' eyes, reading them, trying to understand them, perhaps unnerving them as he walks by, casually. He has horns on his head, something like a bull. Like, if he was a real bull, maybe he would have charged you if he thought you were trouble.
All right.
Platinum hair, and blue eyes. Very light, very almost white skin.
All right. Well, with that intimidating group, standing, you all find yourselves standing, kind of merging together in a way that you don't expect, as you're all headed towards the same front door, and suddenly you're just shoulder to shoulder with each other, headed up this pathway.
Siobhan will kind of take a step back and allow the others to lead.
All right.
Petrov will take front and center and move at a very quick suburban pace.
All right.
Like he's getting in his steps.
Well, as you reach the front door, before you lift a hand to knock, it is opened by a uniformed butler. He bows deeply and motions for you all to come inside.
Okay, we're looking for people that's paying attention to us going inside this here house, right?
Yes.
And the roll will be a 6.
All right. It looks pretty clear, but you definitely spot a beggar down the way it's giving you the eyeball.
Ooh.
Didn't hear any of that.
Didn't catch that.
I'll steal off him later, and then I'll go in.
All right. So as you all enter the house, you're ushered into a wood-paneled room with a fireplace and multiple bottles of wine along the wall, comfortable chairs, a heavy table, and maps and sea charts all over the wall.
Mm.
Seated in an overstuffed chair, you can't discern much more than a human form. The person's head emerges from under a heavy blanket draped over the chair. There's an embroidered hood and a silver mask concealing their face. There's a dry, raspy voice that comes out. "Help yourself to the wine, and seat yourself, friends. I hope I can call you that."
Merrick immediately takes some of the wine and pours himself a glass. Whatever looks the most expensive.
Most of it looks fairly expensive, so that's not too hard to do. What are you investigating, Petrov?
He's looking out through the room and just evaluating, what kind of person is this? You tell a lot about a person by their room. And taking in the scene and just trying to understand that. I don't think he's afraid of being poisoned right now, but he just wants to test the mettle of this person's success, his history, his arcane connections, perhaps.
Okay. Well, you've heard a little bit about this adventurer before. She was last employed as an archmage.
Yes.
Looking around the room, there's still a little bit of that around. You can see little trinkets here and there that she's obviously picked up, bits of spell components and things.
Ooh. I will try to offer just a very common sort of arcane sort of greeting with a bit of a bow and respect according to my training. And timidly take something, but none of the alcohol for now. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a most pleasant location. You've done well for yourself.
There's kind of a dry, raspy laugh.
Until recently, yes, I have.
He shares her concern.
As you all begin to variously drink and eat or not or stare, whatever it is that you are currently up to, she begins to explain to you.
I've called you here because you seem to be, in your own fields, upcoming experts, professionals. I was an adventurer many years ago, and I was died and raised from the dead once more. Have any of you experienced this?
No.
No, we ain't got no. I'm not a zombie magic experience, sorry.
Well, the death
I've
curse...
seen
Yes.
many perish and come back, but for myself, I suppose I'm fortunate to have not experienced it.
She nods.
Well, unfortunately, the death curse you may have heard about has struck me. I am fading. I have months at best. I wish to put a stop to it before it goes further, before we lose people. My contacts within the Harpers have learned that the cause of the death curse is likely a necromantic artifact called the Soulmonger.
So long.
Would I've heard of that before?
You can make a Arcana history works.
Ooh.
Nice,
Both
23.
are the same.
Back yeah.
Woof. I've never heard of it.
Oh.
First
So-
one of the campaign goes to Finn.
So, with that one, you definitely haven't heard of it, but necromantic artifact makes sense to you. You understand what that means. In, let's see, your case, Petrov, there is some history that you can gather from that. There have been versions of soulmongers, things that consumed and were powered on souls, but not this specific label.
Oh, did they like drain people's souls for life, like in a soul-stealing blade kind of
Frequently,
idea?
frequently for extended life, things like that. A lot of kind of really infamous villains have done similar things in taking it into themselves, but this one
Yes.
appears to be an artifact that is being fed souls in order to gain some type of power.
Oh. Well, he will soliloquize this like a star student explaining, of course, the soul blade, and then he will explain in detail all of what you just said, and explain to everyone else. This is very bad. That's his evaluation. Tell me more.
My contacts have determined that it seems to be originating somewhere in Chult.
Of course.
Chult?
So it's told.
Oh, you've heard of it. Have the rest
the
of...
place is a mess. No, I hate that place. I know it very well. I'm qualified, but that is the reason why I hate it, is because I know it.
Understandably, it is quite a place. Rainforests and jungles, enormous reptiles and savage grungs. Have you ever seen a
Reptiles
grung?
are the best. Oh, no, the grunts. The reptiles are great. We get along great with me and the reptiles, but grums not. Avoid them.
Mapping the place has always been nearly impossible, but I've been working from dozens of sea charts and log books and explorers' journals, and I've assembled everything known about the current state of Chult into one map. I'll be providing it to you if you should undertake this mission.
Hey, Soulmonger, Necro device, dangerous dinosaurs and stuff. How much you paying, old lady?
I'll provide you with some magical assistance on your way, and I will be paying you 500 gold apiece after you've completed the mission. You can also keep anything that you find in Chult. It is a treasure trove of gems and information.
This is true. I can attest to that.
Okay, so you're the Chult expert, and you got heavy armor on. It's shiny and stuff. I like that, but just make sure you get it dirty so it doesn't gleam in the sunlight. You don't want things looking at you. So you're the expert. You're the armored person. Looks like you spent some time in the woods, and I'm quick with my hands. So I don't know. Do we have any? Do we have a guide? You know how to walk through the woods? You with the antler?
I've spent my fair share of time in the woods. I can, not a jungle woods, but I'm a quick learner.
Okay. So, you said grung. What's a grung? You're talking like you know what a grung is. I don't know what a grung is. Can you fill me in?
I have many books I will share with you. There are many children's books with the colorful, hungry Grum, who is one of my favorites as a child. They used to make it seem so cute, but you see them, they're not so cute. Many books on this. I can talk about it for hours and hours. Would you like me to tell you all about all of the creatures in Jolt? You will die. Most likely, one, maybe two die, I
How long
say.
is the trip to Schult? Perhaps this is a conversation for that.
I'll be teleporting you there as soon as you're ready.
Oh, well. Hmm. And what is this magic you have? You have some assistance you offer us. Something to protect from the pests?
Should you wish to protect yourself from insects, you could purchase some insect repellent at Port Nyanzaru, where we'll set down. But
Ooh,
magic,
excellent.
yes, magical protection. I can provide you each with an amulet of my creation. Once, and only once, should you fall in battle, it will stabilize you so that you may continue to live, perhaps another day.
Hmm. This should help. Hmm.
Feel free to take the items. He looks at the others. But I have an ability that would more or less do the same, provided I do not fall in combat first.
I'll take the amulet.
So you will be the adventurous one. You will be the one who will be setting traps and dying many times. Is this your expectation? Hmm?
Say that to me or him?
No, to him. Yeah, to the one who wants all the amulets. If you plan on dying a lot, then you know that's basically the idea.
Have you ever led anybody through a place and disarmed doors or unlocked anything? No, you read books. Okay. Sometimes
Exactly.
a boulder falls on your head. Okay. It's a
Yeah.
professional liability.
Hey, I am with you. I believe that you are most entitled to these things. Please take two. I shall have one for emergencies. You know, I believe we have a strong one here. I prefer not to engage in too deeply into the dangerous elements. I will find my way into the back of the area and look about and stay out of trouble and get into all the trouble you desire.
Do you have any rings? Like, okay, so Nick, do you have any rings on? Do you have any like amulets? Anything that like looks cool, like a knickknack that you like?
Yeah, I would say that he would have for whatever reason his shield is like ridiculously like OCD level polished. It has some family runes about it. They seem to be in some kind of maybe abyssal or something. I don't know how much you would know, but it looks really cool. Like if you're a really cool guy in the 90s and you got one of those tattoos that's like all spiky and stuff, it's like that, but it's shiny. So that's what sticks out probably more than anything else. His horns. His horns are very nicely put together. Ram-like. The hell.
Yeah, it does. I was just looking for something maybe to lift and say you dropped. You know. So,
Oh yeah, he doesn't carry much else. He's not armored or anything. He's wearing nice clothes though. So
Do you have
if
a
you
spell component pouch?
yeah, he would have something like that. But he keeps it kind of it's not obvious at the moment, probably.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
As you look at me, I've got like just regular equipment. Okay, it looks like there's rope, there's chains, strings, bells, pots, pans. There's like 7 different bags of metal that's like jangling, and whenever he walks around with his backpack, he's sweating.
He's full haul.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So 500 gold sounds pretty good to me. So it'd be 2,000 for the group, ma'am.
If some of you should fall, I'd be happy to pay out the remainder to the remaining group.
Mm-hmm. This is fair.
Whatever you want to do.
Is there a contract? Are you saying that by taking these amulets we are bound to some contract, or what stops us from taking our leave and never coming back again?
I'll be handing them to you after we reach Chult, and if you leave the island, then you do so at your own peril.
Oh, yes. Location is our contract. Yes, this is quite the commitment, isn't it? He ponders and looks at the others just a little nervously.
Oh,
I,
what?
for one, would really like to learn the source of this curse and perhaps do away with it if we can.
It's a great danger.
I mean, I don't know anybody that's come back from the dead.
Yet.
Is it so good to, like, stop that? I thought that was what the gods were for. They just, like, made sure you died and stuff.
I don't think they intended what this has caused.
And what has this caused? What more must we be wary of?
Should you fall fully in battle, and should you find a cleric powerful enough to attempt to resurrect you, it won't work. Your soul will be taken by the soulmonger, but it'll be taken by the soulmonger if you're shanked in a back alley.
So pretty much no change to my regular life.
Possibly
Well, don't-
slightly more dangerous.
So don't die.
That would be my advice, yes. I understand it's quite an undertaking for perhaps some as young as you, but I've already tried. There's no one else left to ask.
I do love being the last resort.
Okay,
I
so,
see.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm in if you all are in. My name's Clyde, by the way. I met you all on the front stoop. I didn't know we'd be working together. I thought you were like, butlers or something. I don't know. But, Clyde and,
Merrick looks offended at that.
I'm a handsy guy, okay? So, if you need something lifted, you need something planted, I can do it for you.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of planting in the jungle?
Do you have any bombs? I can put those in people's pockets.
Do you think there are going to be a lot of pockets in the jungle?
I don't know, ground. Listen.
Have you
want me
been
to
in a
sneak
forest?
No.
Have you touched grass before?
I've touched grass before. Hold on, let me show you
Okay,
a
that's
cool
a
trick.
start.
Let me show you a cool trick.
Okay.
I look at the big armored cleric, and I would like to try and hide from Emma behind the cleric.
Make a stealth check, and Emma, if you could make a perception check.
Gladly.
Merrick just does that.
Oh man,
Is it not going?
I also made an int roll earlier when I was trying to decide whether he should do this mission or not.
That's fair.
And he rolled a 20, so he's gonna that means he should do it. So he's gonna be very confident this is what he must do.
Seems like fate.
Right.
11.
All right. You'd guess you'd have a hard time hitting him with your arrows as easily from behind somebody as large as that, with him as
See
small
that?
as he is.
Whoa, where did he go? He's gone. We really
I will
are the
say-
last resort, are we?
I'm gonna roll a
Merrick is
deception check
taller
to
than he is
pretend-
wide.
I'm rolling deception to see if I can pretend that I don't know that I see him or not. Say, oh, he's disappeared. Where is the tiny man? I cannot see him. And but he knows where he is. He's just pretending, like what you do with like a little child.
Chaz, if you want to make an insight check to see whether or not you think he sees you or anyone else. Currently, you appear to be out of sight from the wizard.
Oh no, I'm great and I believe it. Yeah, see, and I'll just step behind the armor and be like, see, now you see me, now you don't. Okay.
Oh, this is the best team I could have ever hoped for.
We must do
That's what
this.
I like to hear.
We must do this. We will die and be condemned if we go or if we stay. But maybe if we go, we have a chance. Maybe if we go, we save everyone.
You can also hire yourself a guide or two if you feel they would be helpful to you. Port Nyanzaru has many such people available.
I thought you was good at walking in the woods.
I am good at walking in the woods. Not all woods are the same. You'd know if you've been in one.
It
Not a
would
lot
be
of
nice
pockets
to have.
in the woods.
It would be nice to have
Not a lot of
guide.
pockets.
Yeah.
And what of you? And he turns to Petrov. You seem to know a great deal about Chult.
I know a great deal about the history. I know of the magic. Not so much about the creatures that will kill us. Usually I am focused. I am reading books and the people, they carry the things, and occasionally I summon a little Sherpa that I call from the arcane weave. I do not wander about so much in the world with all of the things. The fighting happens and I'm there, and sometimes I offer advice. But it's a simple, it's the place for me. So this is a bit new. I know many things. I have many books. But I am also learning. I have many empty books to be written in. So some guide may be good.
Sorry, I dozed off there for a moment. So we will need a guide.
Yes, yes, a smart thing. Is guide free? Guides, you pay for guides, yeah? You're gonna pay? Yeah? Okay. Then we have a guide.
Usually there are guides available. Should you need cover costs, I can provide it. I'll be staying with a merchant prince in the city while you all venture into the jungle. I simply don't have the constitution these days to join you.
Is there another in your stead who would pay us once we succeed, should you not be there once we finish?
Should you complete your mission and return to my estate, I will have a will that will leave the necessary things to you.
Wonderful.
I expect I have a few months left at best, so.
For me, this
Well,
money, this money does not go to me. This goes to my family. You understand?
I can make that happen. If you'll take this parchment and just write down some information, I'll make sure that it goes into the right hands.
You'll focus on that task for a bit.
Well, anybody
For
else?
what it's worth, I'm sorry you die, and we'll try and fix it.
I would appreciate it. I've died once before. Wouldn't be the first time, but this one seems an awful lot more permanent and slow.
So, if anyone else needs to write out a last will and testament before you go to Chult, feel free.
Yeah. His penmanship he has a little note for his family too that he puts in there and seals and saves it for the plot later.
She rings a small bell next to her, and the butler reappears. And she says,
Harold, please take this and make sure that it stays with the will material so that these people can be properly paid out should I not rise again.
and Harold bows deeply, and you can just kind of see that little bit of, he's obviously been working for her for a while. He genuinely looks sad as he takes the letter and leaves the room.
Well, if you're ready, we'll go now.
She extends out two incredibly bony, shriveled hands from the blanket and says,
I have an easier time when we hold hands. Circle up.
Move in and take their hands.
right. As everyone joins into the circle, you feel that strange sensation of teleportation. Those of you have felt it before, almost a pulling at the middle of your belly button, like being sucked into yourself for a moment. When you reappear, you find yourself under a blazing sun. There are familiar sounds of a harbor, creaking ropes, slapping waves, and heavy barrels rolling across cobblestones. There are voices shouting and cursing in an unfamiliar language, unfamiliar to some of you. The aroma of unfamiliar spices and tropical fruit. Wharfside smells like fish and tar and canvas. Port Nyanzaru is an explosion of color around you. The buildings are painted bright shades of blue, green, orange, and salmon pink. Their walls are adorned with murals portraying giant reptiles and mythical heroes. Every building sports baskets and clay urns of colorful flowers, leafy flowering vines. There are minstrels in bright clothing adorned with feathers and shelves performing on street corners within sight of you, multicolored pennants and awnings fluttering from atop the city walls, and a crowd of children running by, chased by what appears to be almost a Chinese dragon-style reinterpretation of a dinosaur that comes down the street chasing the small group of children. The huddled figure in the circle with you all looks up and laughs dryly and says,
A sunny day in Chult. Your gods must be smiling on you.
My god would make it overcast. He kind of like hisses at the sun and pulls his hood over his head.
Well, not yours, perhaps. Well, I shall go off to see my merchant prince friend. Should you have an interest, he lives in the 7th villa. He is the 7th of the merchant princes. Elsewise, I don't expect to see you again until, well, either on the other side or when you've completed the mission. There are many markets and stalls here. You can go down the road there, find yourself where the guides normally are if you're looking for one. There are taverns if you don't wish to head out immediately. Or there are survival gear, things like tents, canoes.
Do we have a map?
You do. You have two maps. We have your regular Chult map, and we have this handy-dandy Port Nyanzaru map. And you all are... Boop, right, that purple dot there, if you can see that. Port Nyanzaru is a pretty big city. It also is pretty much the only bastion of civilization that exists in Chult. There are forts and things like that, but they are all way out in the way out. Port Nyanzaru is the only place the trade comes through, the only place that visitors come through, generally speaking, and also, generally speaking, the only safe place in Chult. Looking around, everyone here seems happy but busy, sweaty, and variously cursing, yelling, and laughing. Should you choose to go more towards the shopping method, you might see what looks like kind of a T-shaped red bazaar there. There are a multitude of merchants inside of it, and you can hear them yelling things about bug repellent and canoes. You do hear one kind of oddly high squeaky voice talking about a self-setting tent, but he seems to be getting a little raspy from trying to yell over the rest of the merchants there. Not too far from that bazaar along the outside edge of it, you see a line of people that you can easily tell are guides. There are a collection of 3 different couples of guides. You can see what appears to be 2 Khajiit standing near each other. Furry cat people. They, as far as cat folk can look semi-related to each other. Not too far from them, there is a pair of what appears to be 2 gnomes, one slightly bigger than the other. Bigger than both of them, and standing behind them is a triceratops, looped in to a nearby little stall, and they appear to be vaguely arguing back and forth. And then just down from them you see kind of a strange-looking couple. What appears to be a human, but mostly dressed in kind of the wares of the nature of Chult. A lot of leaves layered over each other and woven in. A lot more mud than the people around him. And on his shoulder, you see a tiny person made of grass. He's about this big, and he sits up on the shoulder and seems to be motioning at the man with its tiny little hands, and the man seems to talk back to him.
Yes, Chult is a wonderful place, don't you think? And he sort of revels in all the children playing and all of the activity and all the wonder of it all, and he's just taking it all in.
It's a lot to take in. Chult is larger than a city you would normally expect in an almost deserted desert island, but
yes,
through adversity it seems to have grown somewhat. Down the road you can also hear some sort of shouting, and for those of you who have been in such a place, it sounds really familiar. It sounds like somebody betting on races.
Well, we start with the guide, everyone. I'm fine with picking someone out, but I think in character we'd walk up and sort of evaluate them and see who's who. I'm curious about this nature guy, so I think that
Want to start with him?
He would start going towards him.
Sure. You are more than welcome to have a chat with all of them. Let's see here.
Merrick will kind of stay at the back of the crowd, and he's just observing, but he's noticeably keeping himself distant.
All right.
Siobhan is very interested in the T-Rex right now. But we'll follow the group.
All right. Well, if you're going to go and talk to them first, as you approach, the druid bows slightly and introduces himself as Kawasha. He motions to the small grass man on his shoulder and says, "This is Koopa Louie. It's lovely to meet you two. I am a druid and a member of the Emerald Enclave. I'm looking to rid Chult of some undead, if you are headed out and don't mind slaying a few along the way. We both live here, so we know the area very well. Our fee is currently 5 gold pieces per day, but if you're willing to help us destroy undead, we could certainly lower that."
Well, yes, this is our mission. We seek the undead. This is no lie. This is very important for you to know. We are aligned this way. And he's completely, convinced that this is the person he wants to join, and he kind of looks to the others, like, huh? Huh?
Don't want to talk to the T-Rex guy?
Meanwhile,
Let's go talk to these gnomes. They got a big dinosaur.
All right. Well,
I will defer to the antlers.
Okay. So as you all watch, and it is a Triceratops, by the way. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's not a T-Rex.
Dinosaur's dinosaur.
Okay.
I'm still interested in it.
I wanted to make sure. I didn't know if that would be like the deal breaker for you.
No.
Well, as you approach the 2 gnomes, the larger of the 2 introduces themselves as Ferul and Gondolo. Their Triceratops is named Zorbo.
Excellent.
Their general pitch is, why pay for one guide when you can have 2 for the same price? We have smarts, goods, and our own Triceratops. Their price is 5 gold pieces per day with 30-day payment up front. However, if you'd like to have equal shares of treasure with them, they more than happily reduce the rate.
Where'd you find Zorbo?
Well, in Chult, of course.
Yeah, okay, where?
In the jungle, where all the other dinosaurs come from.
You'll have to
I pull
forgive
out the
him. He
giant-
doesn't know much about forests.
I pull out the giant map, the 100-square-mile island, right? And I go, where on the island did you find the giant dinosaur? Or is it everywhere?
There's some racing right down the road.
No shit. I look down.
You can see a crowd gathered around what appears to be a racetrack not too far away.
Oh, so these is common. They're not, like, rare.
I wouldn't call them common. I mean, you can't get them everywhere, but yeah, you can find dinosaurs around here.
Dinosaurs are like horses here. They are everywhere. Many wild, but many they train. They ride.
Like a scaled horse. Joban, what you thinking?
Depending on how much we need to bring with us, it would be nice to have a Triceratops in addition to our knowledgeable guides.
However, that thing is the size of my house. So,
Wow.
I don't know. Is it easy for... Listen, I'm not a jungle expert. Let's all be honest here,
we
you
know,
know.
yes.
But you know, that thing makes as much noise as all of us walking around together. So,
what's the issue if it's the same amount of noise?
I mean, like, we double our noise. Is that important? Are we gonna be sneaking through the jungle, or are we gonna go full bore? Because if we're going full bore, I'm buying me a dino and I'm riding it.
Well, I guess it depends if you want the things to sneak up on us, or do you want them to know that we're coming and run away, or do you want them to be surprised by us?
Would it be easier?
There is someone here who can make dinosaurs. They come out of the air, and we can have dinosaur whenever they want. This man's when they are fighting against death.
Did they say that they make dinosaurs out of thin air?
He's a druid. This is what druids do. They make animals, right? A dinosaur is not a magic creature. It's like a horse. It is a beast. It's a creature.
Well, why don't you just polymorph one of us into a dinosaur? All wizards polymorph, yes?
Well, we could ask him. I'm just making a point that he seems to have a little person on his shoulder. He's very cute. And mostly it is that they will not take our treasure. These little ones, they seek to... there is much treasure here. There is much gold to be taken, and I do not wish to share it beyond the four of us.
Cute is great until it's choking on its own blood, and then it's tragic. So I want to make sure we have people who are...
You talk to him. I think he is the right spirit.
I'm saying we should consider all of our options here and not go for what's cute and what we think they do because they are a druid.
Very good.
If I could interject my opinions.
I do not like the idea of a big dinosaur.
Well, then, you're not going to like the idea of this jungle very much.
We stay
I have
away
to
from
say
that.
I'm rather fond of, perhaps more fond of the other one. Their mission on taking down undead is something I can get behind.
Should we at least talk to the tabaxi first?
Sure,
Absolutely.
Tabaxi?
please.
All right. What's their pitch?
Well,
Khajiit has done nothing wrong.
that's their whole pitch. As you approach, from having talked with the gnomes, the lighter furred, kind of white fur on one of them, kind of almost spotted yellow fur on the other, you notice that one of them, the male of the two, has an eye patch over his eye, and then the female of the group says, as you approach, "You should beware those two. They're no good flunkies. They don't know anything, and they probably stole that dinosaur." She introduces herself. "I'm River Mist. This is my brother Flask." of wine. that is his name.
Love it.
Schult is our playground. We've lived here most of our lives. We do 5 gold pieces per day, 30-day advance, kind of like what they do, but we won't take your treasure. We're happy to serve as guide for 4 pieces a day if you don't go with him.
If you were worried about stealth earlier, I believe this will be our most stealthy, quietest option.
I don't know what I want. You said you could walk through the forest. These people can walk through the forest. Do we have to pay someone if you can walk through the forest? I mean,
Anyone can walk through the forest, but do you know where you're walking to?
I pull out the map. No one knows where they're walking to. It's blank.
Yes, that's why we need people who have been here and know where they're walking to.
I point to the tabaxis. So do you know where Camp Vengeance? You ever been there?
Flask of Wine steps forward and says, well, I've been there, but it's not a really fun place. I don't highly recommend it. They'll take your things.
Really?
Especially if you don't have a travel charter. They're very strict on that.
So wait, they enforce administrative law in the jungle?
As best as anyone can in the jungle.
What a terrible... They must be terrible people.
Well, they started out with mercenaries, you know.
As the pickpocket.
Hey, I don't judge. You want me to start judging you, Antlers? Huh? What poor creature did you
Antler,
murder to
there's only
take
one.
that as a... Oh, okay.
Okay.
I
Well,
might be a thief, but I'm not I don't have a body count, okay?
if you...
You poor soul.
Go ahead.
Huh?
No, that's all I was saying. You poor soul.
Well, if you all
Well,
need a minute to decide and think about it, there are taverns, there are dinosaur races, you could do a little bit of shopping. If you need a second to talk about it amongst yourselves, I know picking a guide is hard.
Well, they
Well,
just gave us some information, too, so...
It's nice.
You know, whenever you guys are done, I'm just gonna talk to these people about random points on the map and see if they give me anything.
Yeah, I mean, just with an insight check maybe to see if there's anything fishy, but I'm fine with
That's
any
what I was
really.
gonna say.
Um,
Especially as I'm sort of standing back and observing more than interacting.
oh, my insight is terrible, so whatever is the case, he knows the opposite is true.
I mean,
Right.
these halflings
Dunning
seem pretty
Kruger.
trustworthy.
Should I do an insight for each group or just one altogether?
General insight's fine. Getting a feel on these people, the druid probably generally means well, is probably a good person with intentions towards actually cleaning up things as he goes. Seems like a nice guy. The 2 gnomes, you're not sure on them. You're not sure, 1, if they came by the dinosaur legitimately in the first place. 2, if they actually are guides. You're getting just a little bit of read from them that they're a little well-dressed for this situation. Just a little bit. One of them does have a tie on. And then with the tabaxi, that you're able to ascertain with that they are either littermates or siblings. And they... If you had to guess, the sister is probably the leader of the 2. But they do look like they've lived here for a while, and not a lack of gear, but a lack of giant backpacks like your halfling friend is carrying kind of leads you to believe they might have an idea of what they're doing.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that to myself until we're not standing right in front of them.
Yes, we have a drink and we come back, and you don't go anywhere. We come back soon. And I'm happy to go to the tavern together if y'all want to go to the nearest tavern.
All right.
Yeah.
Or unless they serve like drinks at the races.
You can buy drinks at the races if you would like.
Want to have drinks at the races?
Yeah.
All
It'll
right.
be loud. We can talk to each other and people won't overhear.
That's true.
And there's a lot of coin exchanging hands.
Now, be careful, all right? We just got to this town. We do not want to start trouble right away.
Okay, so that's all good and everything, but I have 5 gold to my name, okay? So I can pay for 1 day of a guide. So if you would like me to pay for more days of a guide, I need a way of making money. And
Didn't
this
our
betting
host
gold.
say that she
Yeah,
would
a
cover our
benefactor.
guides?
Indeed. Our benefactor will aid us.
And this might surprise
Okay.
you, but you're probably not going to find a lot of places to use your 5 gold in the jungle. Unless you
I'm
eat it.
saying I can't pay for a month of guide, is all I'm saying.
I agree.
That's fine. It's not coming out of our pockets.
I'll buy the first round of drinks when we get there.
All right. Your first round of drinks is a fermented drink made of honey that they have in Schult. It's called Tej. It's amber colored, roughly. Mug costs 4 copper.
Tej for everyone, on me.
All right.
Thank you.
What does it taste like? Or what is it?
Say I got one that's a little bit
He's
more
used to
like,
refined.
fruity. A more fruity one, but not too sweet, and maybe a little precocious.
It's a little like mead. It's a little spicy. It's definitely got some other spices and stuff in it. You don't think it's necessarily a highbrow drink, but it's possibly a component in some higher brow drinks.
Okay.
Kind of like
It takes
the,
a minute to like sniff it and not sure. Takes a sip. He's like, it'll suffice.
So, looking out across the track of the dinosaur races, you can see that there are a multitude of races going at any given moment. Currently, Big Honker is coming up on Banana Candy as it rounds a turn. If you would like to place any bets, let me know. Otherwise, you all can sit and have your talk and listen to the backgrounds of Dinosaur.
I love Big Honker.
I'm not going to bet, so I'll just sit and,
Yeah,
and
for now.
observe. And
We can discuss the guides. Well, one guide, he's free. I do like the Tabaxi, though. They seem to know what they're doing. So I'm open to these. I do not trust the gnomes.
I'm leaning towards the Tabaxi as well.
We do not know what
Experience.
drives the Tabaxi. Why do they do this? Do they have a moral, an ethical code? Or do
Do
they
they
simply...
want 5 gold?
It's very simple. It's
Do
honest.
they need a moral reason?
Well, say they could get 5 gold from someone who needs bodies, the workers, for their mines. Would they take 5 gold from them?
You
Something
think
to
they're
think
going to
about.
sell us to some mine workers? Is your fear?
This happens. This happens here. Many times this happens here. And these mercenaries they speak of, what do they know of them? Do they work with them? They know something about their laws. They know their codes, their rules. Maybe this is useful.
They also said they lived here for like most of their lives, so
Yeah.
you know. What was the little green thing's name?
Koopalooey.
Yeah, Koopalooey, yeah.
Louis.
He seemed neat.
They are
Never seen a
aligned.
plant person before.
They are aligned most with us. They seek the same end, to fight the undead, and this may aid us a great deal in having their will. The Tabaxi, they may run away. They may not care. Maybe they do.
But what does Koopalooey, are they Are they just going to sit there the whole time? Are they going to help us? Are we really getting 2 guides, or are we just getting one with a mascot?
We do not know their skills until we use them. It's hard to say. I believe they would know how to find ways through the trees that others cannot see. They are druids. This creature may be one with this place, may have some special ways to help us. These tabaxi do not. There's more magic in them. There is something of a living tree that I find fascinating. But this is my own interests. You see, I've already begun to sketch, and he shows like a little bit of a drawing of the like leafy person on a sketch of a guy, and he's sort of interested. He's added it to his book. He's collecting a little bit of an anthropological, Darwin's sort of Galapagos kind of experience. So he's much more interested in him because this is exotic and interesting. Just to give you a little sense of his motivation. So he's leaning towards the druid, but he'll be happy with the cats.
Well, I can certainly attest that just because you have magic does not make you useful.
Well, I can attest to the opposite. I find magic has saved my life many a time.
And yet not everyone in this world is good, or use their magic for good motivation.
This is very true. This is the way of the Fae. I wonder if the Fae are involved in this. That definitely seems like up their alley with how deeply are they around this town? Are there Thayan like wizards walking around in Chult, or are they?
You don't see any openly walking around. Mm-hmm. If you want to make a perception check to like kind of look and see if there's anybody that kind of fits the description that might be sneaking around, that's up to you.
Sure.
May I?
As an off the side, why not? I'll roll that.
May I also look for someone who is just generally shady?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're right beside you.
Right?
Generally shady from Port Nyanzaru?
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. Maybe.
Maybe.
Do you forget how to perceive things?
Yes.
Normally you hit the button that says perception on your character sheet.
You know, sometimes I roll a 9.
Well, looking around between the two of you, you don't see anything. Yeah. You don't see anything that resembles anybody sketchy or Thayan red wizards. You've definitely heard of them around here, but you don't think they'd be in normal society, really. People don't tend to get along too well with necromancy.
Yeah.
So, coin flip?
Are we really? We're putting our lives to a coin flip?
No, everyone we pick. We decide. I'm flexible. Who do you like?
I would pick River Mist and Flask.
Any more for River Mist and Flask? Druid?
I'm for River Mist and Flask.
Then it is done. There will be no conflict between us. I say River Mist as well.
Why don't we pay the other people?
That's
We can just
good.
bring 2 sets of guides.
Oh, you mean all of them?
It's
Bring
not
both
our
guys.
money, you said.
Well, can we? Can we bring 2 guides?
I will.
Probably need approval on that first.
I would say you would have to get both guides to agree, and at the beginning of the day, I would probably ask you who's leading that day. But yes, you could easily purchase multiple experts to go with you if
The
you want
druid's
to.
free. Because the druid's free, so we can have both of them. Why
The
not?
druid wasn't free.
The Druid, no, they just want us to also do stuff for them. They want to.
Well,
They
he
want
wants
to do
to fight
side quests.
undead. They don't have to fight.
No, they
undead.
said it was 5 a day, or if we killed undead along the way, then the rate would be down.
Yeah, we don't have
But
to
not
go on the way.
gone.
Just on the way. and he'll help us kill them too. So we could take both guides, and then, one night we need more Tabaxi stuff, and another night we need, and then the GM gets a couple characters they get to play.
All 4 of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we can go stand there for a while if you need to finish your picture of the tree man, the grass man.
Oh, no, I have enough information now. The rest is in my head. Yeah, we could try. I mean, we could try to get both of them. That would be awesome. If you're all open to that.
10 gold a day. Ooh.
No, he's free. The druid's free. So it's 5 gold.
No, they said they'd
Oh, he's
go
not
down.
free.
4 a day. And the druid's free.
No, the
The
druid's
druid
not
is not
free.
free.
They said
is
they'd put
free.
their price down.
No, druid said nothing,
Wait.
right?
Uh,
GM?
They
No.
said 5.
Druid
I
did
was taking
originally.
notes.
Druid did originally say 5. He did say he would cut it down if you were willing to kill him
Oh.
with him.
I thought he said cut it to 0. My bad. How much?
Most of them will, in place of payment, take a share of treasure.
Yeah, I don't like that, though.
I know. I'm just letting you know.
Let's just go with the cats. If you guys are fine with the cats, I think that's good with me and everyone. If you're all right with that, Fen.
Merrick is wanted to go with the druid as well because of the undead thing,
Yeah.
but he's at this point where he doesn't care as long as we get the job done. Sort of
Yeah.
deal.
Well, then
Um,
I'm also letting the ranger lead a little too, because the ranger kind of knows about this sort of adventuring stuff, and I'm used to being kind of a tourist. So
God, don't put it on me.
yeah, well, it's just a little bit. He's going to lean that way, Like he doesn't have a high charisma either, so he's not going to really be too pushy
Neither
about
do
stuff.
I.
Dump stat for everyone. We could also roll for it. We could totally. It's pretty much 50-50, so we could just flip for it.
Do we want to ask the druid what their reduced rate would be for killing undead?
Yeah.
Or we don't really care about the money because it's not.
I think
money.
if most of
could.
the group is going for the Tabaxis, then it's fine. Like, doesn't matter to my character at all.
Yeah. Then let's just do that. Then everyone's happy.
Right.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Good deal.
Well,
Excellent.
while we're getting that figured out and headed back towards the Tabaxi, can I have everybody roll a D100 for me?
Ooh. It's always fun.
Nice.
Nice.
Do you roll a T100 on this?
Over on the left-hand side,
Oh, right there.
this little dice. Nice.
Did mine go through? Mine didn't go through.
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
There
it's
we are.
33.
All right, 33. So as
Hey.
you all are spending a little bit of time in and around Chult, you can hear people talking about different things about Chult, and your ears kind of naturally just prick up to some of the different things that you hear might be out there in the jungle, and each of you hear a few different things. Let's see here. Petrov, you hear somebody talking about Chult once having been a playground for a green dragon, and that if you could find her bones, they might mark the location of a hidden treasure trove.
Ooh.
And if you were to head towards Mesro and travel east across the Laughing Gorge, and then south towards Kir Sabal, you might stumble onto the bones and earn yourself a place in the history books.
Hmm. What was the last place? South towards where?
South towards Kir, K-I-R, and then Sabal, S-A-B-A-L.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I like to have accurate notes too sometimes. All right, and let's see. Related somewhat to the city of Mesro, Finn, your character would hear the city of Mesro wasn't actually destroyed during the spell plague. The ruins are an illusion. You hear somebody saying, "I heard a pale-skinned man whispering this to a big man with a big sword, and that dinosaur man smelled like honeysuckle." That doesn't make any sense to you at this time. But yes. So the city that is also mentioned in Nick's rumor may or may not still be there. Let's see. Clyde, you would know that there is a dragon turtle that lives in the Bay of Chult. If you wish to set sail from Port Nyanzaru, you need a bunch of treasure to leave. Because it won't let you leave without making an offering to it.
Okay.
Just in case you weren't trapped enough. And 69.
Nice.
Yeah. Really nice and a very, very valid warning. You hear, anyone traveling through the jungles of Chult should watch out for a mist with a blue tinge to it. It spreads a fever that drives people insane.
It's gonna be real fun, guys. We're not gonna die.
Got it.
So yes, you all managed to pick up those rumors as you're in and around the kind of dinosaur racing pit, which seems to be just kind of a communal gathering place for a lot of people. Oh, for those of you that were interested in T-Rexes and things like that, they're dragons? Dragons. The dinosaur race has...
Foreshadowing?
Yeah, sure. Tyrannosaurus rexes, Triceratopses, Hadrosaurs, Allosaurs, Ankylosaurs, and Deinonychuses? I don't know how to pronounce that particular.
Deinonychus.
Yes.
Deinonychus? Yeah.
Yeah, and a very old Diametrodon. Like ancient. That thing is gray, and it's still running
Just like
around a circle.
The kids. It runs. It's not just sitting there getting pet by children. It's running.
Yes, they are all still running. There appears to be roughly 3 different races going on at any given time. A 4-legged race, a 2-legged race, and then kind of an unchained one that's just... seems to be a lot of chaos out there in the middle.
Fascinating.
As we go back towards the bazaar and the guides, I would like to get a bug net to sleep in.
Okay.
How much would that run me?
Bug net, probably 5 silver.
And the repellent, too. We get a few shots of repellent.
Sure, so repellent comes in 2 different forms. You can either get it in a block of incense that sells for 1 silver piece. When lit, it burns for 8 hours and repels normal insects within a 20-foot radius.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
There's also a salve one, which sells for a gold piece, but it contains 20 applications of it, and it keeps you free from insects for 24 hours, and is waterproof and doesn't wash off in the rain.
Ooh.
I want that.
There
Yeah.
are disclaimers that insects over a certain size may or may not be affected by. Just want to clarify that. In and around the marketplace, there's a lot of things, different things being sold, but in addition to the bug repellent, you also see things like rain catchers for people that intend to spend a long time in Chult to gather extra water. A particular type of weapon that's native to Chult. It's a 3-foot wooden shaft with a steel or stone blade about 18 inches long at the end. And canoes. There are a ton of canoe salesmen here. Seems like a lot of people travel Chult by river.
I assume our guide has that.
Depends on which one you ask.
Or they'd know if we need one,
Yeah.
at the very least.
We could get their advice on what we should bring, too. Maybe they got a deal. Were the Tabaxi selling stuff, too? Because I think the gnomes were.
The gnomes seem to be kind of selling stuff as a side gig. The Tabaxi could probably give you some advice on what you might need. Insofar as river travel or not, that would be more up to you all based on where you want to go and how freely you want to be able to move. Canoes are heavy. They have a maximum speed of 2 miles per hour. They can hold up to 6 medium creatures, but carrying it through the jungle, should you reach a point where you no longer want to use it, would be a bit cumbersome.
What if we had a floating disc? Would it get us through like those moments where we had to portage over like for an hour somewhere?
What's the concentration on that?
It's an hour. It lasts an hour.
It could certainly help move some things along. Full day's travel, probably more like 8 hours overall, but if you're just trying to kind of get from a short area to another one, that could help.
Yeah, because I'm thinking we could do something like that with a how much is a canoe?
A canoe is 50 gold pieces.
Oh, good
Did
lord.
we get like an expense report or
Yeah.
a form to fill out that we turn
Yeah,
back
how much
in
can we spend
to Our Lady?
She offered to pay for your guides.
Okay. So not the canoes. I think we hire our guides and ask them what they suggest.
I think I'm with you. We're all gonna want the bug spray, for sure.
Yeah.
Or at least the incense. So I knocked off a couple incense and a bomb, a bug bomb spray. Bug bomb, BALM.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll grab one of each of those.
Okay. The gourd, which has 20 applications, sells for 1 gold piece, and then the incense, which you light, is 1 silver piece for a block that burns for 8 hours.
Cool.
Oh, then maybe I'll get a couple of those.
20-foot radius on that.
I got a couple of the incense for until we get a
We get a-
tiny hut.
I'm gonna get a gold's worth of the incense. And
Very
then
nice.
Yeah, that sounds like a
the
good
bomb.
idea.
All right.
Make it an easy 2 gold.
That's what I was thinking too.
So,
Cool.
Do you guys, there's always the option. I mean, look around. There's a lot of people here. I'm sure that this lady is not the only person that needs something in and out and around the jungle. So, if you want to figure out where to sleep tonight, I can pay for a hotel or inn or whatever. But I would like to go maybe see about these merchant princes. They got a bunch of money and resources and maybe information. If they control Port Nyanzaru, then they know what's going on out there.
Yeah, I'm all for killing 2 birds. Or 3 birds. As many birds. I don't like birds.
All the birds then, okay.
So a couple rivers, the Turiki and the one that goes to Camp Vengeance, the Shoshin Star, we could canoe that way, or maybe the guys have a boat. But again, I know we're going to get their advice on that. Is it all desert in the middle? That's just uncharted territory in the middle.
it is just uncharted territory. As far as you're aware, it is jungle all over. A lot of people don't wander too far into Chult. There are lots of stories of ancient cities out there, and people who have lived there before. There was a pretty common historical knowledge that there were an ancient race of people called the Omu that lived there for a very long time. But almost like hidden temples, Nickelodeon style. They're now just these like long forgotten about things that may still exist in some part, but in real time and the current world, nobody's seen or heard from them or found any of the lost cities. I did mention that the yellow areas before are undead, heavily infested. Avoiding those map-wise can be a little bit hard into the later regions, but were you to take the river Sojinchar down towards the Camp Vengeance type area, you would likely avoid the majority of undead. Whereas River Tariki goes directly through it and in fact terminates in undead territory.
Oh yeah, it ends there. So maybe
Yeah.
the other river would we need some sort of visa to get through one of those camps, they said?
You were recommended both the Druid and the Tabaxi would have mentioned that Camp Vengeance is run by a group of mercenaries that are religious bent, but mostly they're concerned with kind of administratively controlling their area. So they rely on people to have things called exploration charters.
Okay, so we either need one of those or we need to forge one of those.
Is that something in the library area, whatever? That's something we could, in his clerical duty responsibilities, come up with, perhaps?
Yeah. We could actually go ahead and head over to the, let's see here. I'm not going to pull up a visual map of it because we don't need too much, but over at the villa of the merchant that you were mentioned could possibly be helpful. You can find
cool.
you can find your original person that you were working with, Sylvain, but with her there's also kind of an older gentleman, darker skin, big kind of square beard with a big gray streak down the middle, very well dressed, speaking with her as you all enter, and he says, "Ah, these must be the adventurers you picked up." He does have a library that you can utilize to do any
perfect.
research you would like to do.